How's it going today, folks? My name's Jason, and today I am making onion rings. And for the batter, I'm doing a beer batter, and I'm using freshly milled flour and rice. So I'm using equal parts, about 100 grams each of soft white wheat and rice, and using about a can of beer, a shot of vodka, and a little bit of salt and a little bit of baking powder. I'll put the exact recipe I used down at the bottom, down in the description. And I'm frying it in Wagyu beef tallow, so let's see how that goes.
So here I'm cutting up a sweet white onion, just taking off the top and the bottom and then cutting it into about half-inch thick sections. And I like to keep all the paper and the top and the bottoms, and I keep it in the freezer in a container with a bunch of other vegetable scraps so I can make stock from it. So here I'm separating them and taking out the membrane, and then I'm going to put these in the freezer overnight, take them out in the morning, and then let them thaw out in the refrigerator. What that's going to do is it's going to basically, the ice is going to burst all the cells in the onion, and then it'll make it easier to chew through, so you don't get that the thing where you pull out the onion from the batter, which I really can't stand. So here I'm grinding up the flour for the batter. So it's a 50-50 mixture of wheat and rice, and I'll put all the amounts in the description down below. And then this is the flour for the dredging. So here I'm adding the vodka, and then I'll slowly add the beer in because it's going to foam up pretty good. So I'm going to slowly add it in and make sure it's all mixed in and incorporated. You see in that bowl there's the onions, the thawed onions. They look pretty limp, but they still held together. Adding in the last of the beer. Got pretty foamy. So then just take the onions, dredge it in flour, and then into the batter, and then out onto a rack to dry. So I'm going to go ahead and get all my onion rings. I'm doing actually a double batter, so everything gets coated. So once I get all these done, as I set up to go fry, it'll go into the dredge again and then into the batter. So here I got my oil set up at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. And again, this is Wagyu beef tallow. I'll leave a link to the one that I use down in the description down below. So dredge it in flour again, and then into the batter, and then into the oil. And you can see that even though they're kind of droopy, they do form into rings pretty easily. Then once they get nice and brown, make sure you flip them over, then take them out when they look done. This is one reason why I don't really fry a lot, is because you'll see that there's a lot of the batter that comes off and just kind of hangs out and burns, and that's usually what makes oil go kind of nasty, is all those bits that end up burning. So I try to remove those as often as I can to make sure the oil's as clean as possible. You can see there's like chunks of those just clinging to the rings, which is fine, but it's just when they stay in there for a while, they'll start to burn and start to change the flavor of your oil, and you don't want that, because I'm going to be using this oil later.
So I finished frying these up. It's my first time making onion rings, so I'd say it went fine. I've had worse in restaurants. The test will be if I bite into it and the onion doesn't pull out of the batter. I think that'll be a win for me. Bit right through it. Yeah, it's funny, you can't really... The tallow is actually pretty neutral. It's not really... I thought it would be more beefy, but it's actually pretty good. So yeah, I'd say that's a win for me. They didn't all turn out the way that I liked it, that I would have liked, but it's my first time doing onion rings, so that's that. If you want to see what I do with the beef tallow, hit subscribe so you can follow along. I want to make sure I use all of it up in recipes because one of the reasons why I don't fry a lot is because you end up throwing out a lot of oil. So hopefully this way I can use it in baking and use it all up, not throwing it away. So if you want to see that, hit subscribe and I will see you next time.